Hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel, right? Ultimately, right? I was familiarizing myself with some of the settings that have been on my are now on my page and stuff. So you gotta excuse me, and I remember what it is that I said I was gonna do with listing stuff out. I did a little bit of research last night, y'all. So yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this ain't as bad as I thought it would be, but on the same token of it not being as bad as I thought it would be, with checking for like round trips and stuff like that, opposed to just doing it one way. Yeah, I was doing the one ways because they were cheaper, and I know that's gonna be talking about how a person would be just one way. So there's that. The other thing was yesterday, right? Yeah, something that I was supposed to do over the winter time that I knew I was supposed to do over the winter time, but others, right? Yeah, they kept preventing me from doing it because it's one of those. My children are my children, right? And when it's all said and done, I have a responsibility to them, whether they're considered quote unquote karmic or not. And yeah, so there's that portion. And besides, part of them is me. So I have to make sure that the part of me is decent and in order and cool, right? Regardless of whatever happens. So it's that. The other thing was I had paid attention to a lot of different things, right? That have been going on over the course of the years, and the different swaps and all the other stuff. I saw two raccoons, y'all, when I took the trash out this morning, and one of the things it was that kept coming up. I had noticed it, and it had been coming up beforehand, but I didn't really feel the need to talk about it because I really didn't care. If we gonna talk about it, we gonna talk about it. Since I'm with Rooster Restaurant, did I love my job? Yes, I did, but they were really shitty towards me, like overall, within what it is that they had information in regards to me. There was that portion. The other part of it was with me posting about it and talking about it. Most of my heartache realistically comes from different jobs it is that I work, not necessarily, people of my own, right? But ultimately, what it was that took place was when Camille started working there. Yeah, they had did a reading, right? And or they had got a reading or listened into however the hell it was that it happened with the peoples, right? So to speak. Uh and I know it was confirmed that they had did the reading because they were checking to see when the shipment would come for some forks that they had ordered. Yeah, Dave had came and told me about that, and I was like, oh, okay, it's no problem. But with that, I was expecting, yes, to at least get a little bit something extra in my check, and I really didn't. That was kind of one of the things that was bothersome to me in those respects. But I did end up working at Fifth Wheel Catering. Yeah, with my name being Fifth and all this other stuff. And then when Camille came, Camille realistically, she had a real jealous heart, and that was really bothersome to me. Yeah, she one minute she wants to play cool, but in short, she didn't handle stress well, none whatsoever. And within me being hired by Seda, it was one of those, yeah, it was one of those get down or lay down type situations, and it was one of those, I'll do you one better. I ain't got to get down or lay down. I could just walk the hell away from this situation. Paris had started an argument with me. That's what that was about. Paris Reinhardt. She had started an argument with me, uh, because ultimately she had even been watching my videos and stuff, and she was taking, yeah, and I had heard her say even once before, yeah, on the whole energetic level, you don't listen to me, you don't listen to me. It was one of those nights where I had to pleasure myself, and she felt some type of way because I did, and I don't know what the fuck it was that happened with her, but at the end of the day, I don't know whether she got fucked up or not, but what I do know is, whatever it was that happens, they need to blame the administration because by right, with Dave being the owner And the administrators, they had hard evidence that I was doing what I was supposed to do, and they didn't defend me, but they wanted to keep trying to bring my ass the fuck around there. It's like, no, you didn't pay me right. The person you have over me ain't doing shit right. Yeah, she got a little nasty ass attitude. She taking credit for what it was that I was bringing in and alchemicalizing and stuff. Yeah, I had talked to a few of them a few different times because Justin, he had said that every time he thinks not to buy or he wants to stop buying the cups, then out of nowhere, all of the cups are selling while I was there. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense because even then they knew I was an alchemist with crowd control and all of that. All right, so it was 555 when I said that. In short, they had signs. People had signs. People knew exactly what was going on, exactly what they were doing. It was no surprise or anything to it with that. And the same thing happened when it wasn't, yeah, because I modeled the shirt and everything. When it wasn't the cups that were being sold, it was the shirts that were being sold or some coffee. Yeah, in short, I was handling my business like I was supposed to. Hello. Hi. Whoa, it's people. Hello, how are you? But yeah, so with all that stuff going on, it was just unnecessary to me. It really was. For all that craziness to go on and come into place while I was there. But while I'm on her just keep going. Oh yeah. Outside of that though, I had dealt with that portion, and I got to know a lot of people because when I first got there, yeah, it was like everybody was all up at arms, and even the lighting in that space, right, was really really dim. And what I did there was what I did in every space it was that I went to. I would play the music that would be associated with it. Typically, it would be cleansing the negative energy music as well as solar plexus chakra, right? And good morning. And within me being able to alchemicalize, right, that information that was being sent in to me. Like if somebody who was coming in, they were disabled, I could tell that they would be disabled because I would feel their pain and everything. So there was that portion. The other part of it though was I had been hearing while I was working C till 2, and I was like, okay, am I tripping? Yeah, that was the first question I said. It was like, am I tripping? And then Seda came to me and she told me, she was like, C till 2. And I was like, I thought I was hearing it, but I just wanted to be sure. I wasn't completely sure because it was a conflict of interest, right? With the staff, so to speak, while I was there, and they made me the bad guy because whenever I would do what it is that I was told to do. And then when Camille came, it was one of those, everybody wanted to start saying they work for Camille. And it's like, okay, you may work for Camille, but I work for Dave. And then by the time that all went down, yeah, because I had applied initially not to even be a hostess, but to be an assistant manager. They know that though. All they got to do is check the records, the application records. And then with what it was that Melanie had go on, whenever I play a particular song, that's the thing that kind of be bothering me. Yeah, it's one of those when I play a particular song, yeah, on the intuitive level, it may be that person doing something, but that don't mean that I'm finna trip off of it for real. And Melanie, she felt some type of way about stuff, and I really, yeah, in that regard, I really wasn't tripping. I really didn't care. I didn't care. Oh, you don't speak English? Okay. But yeah, ultimately, when it was all said and done, and all done and said, yeah, I did what I was supposed to in those situations, and it wasn't acknowledged to me that I, was really doing a good job. Yeah, I didn't. When Seda left, I didn't get no pats on the back or none of that, and instead it was like because I was cool with Zeta, or I had become accustomed to the way Zeta had did things, it turned around to where, yeah, it wasn't even necessarily the change of it. Blue. Oh, okay. Blue Bay. Okay. But it wasn't necessarily the issue of me not being able to adjust to someone else being in power. It was more so a matter of adjusting to the fact that I wasn't respected for what it was that I was doing. So there's that. The Emperor was clearing out the Emperor, uh, one's mind, right? Aries essence, what it is to be in power, to protect the staff, to wear a crown, and the enlightenment that comes with wearing a crown. I got the White Sage Tarot out right now, y'all. So yeah, so even in those regards, yeah, when I say I don't have a issue with something, I typically don't trip off of it that much. Primarily because I had already taken care of that before I left, and they had let me know that they wasn't gonna take care of me or support me over any other extent of time. Especially considering the way it was that I was able to handle myself and take care of everything. I think it was only one time I broke some plates, and I broke five of them, but that was because I was in their area. And from then on, yeah, I didn't break nothing. No cups would drop or none of that. And yeah, some people, they be looking at me and they felt some type of way behind it. Yeah, because I was quick with what it is I was doing, and I was in the flow of the essence, opposed to allowing the essence to control me. So it says, so the Emperor, passionate new beginning. Um, some of it'll be about that unconditional love, uh, and what it is that goes on and comes into plays over the course of the week. When you, yeah, with one being in power over the week. One of the things, empower or empowered, one of those. One of the other things that's kind of coming to me, with the whole situation, right? Yeah, it'll be about something it was that I heard. Yeah, about how within being a divine feminine, how one would expect for an individual within them being a divine feminine to, change how they. For me, what was being described would be a change. I ain't never been egotistical like that. Being a divine feminine or whatever, what have you, and whether people would acknowledge or not or pay attention to or not, is when you're a divine feminine, you already pretty much setting your ways for what constitutes as divinity. The unfortunate is, speaking from heartache, yeah, it would be someone speaking from heartache. Like, okay, now that you got this position, don't make it seem like, yeah, don't get egotistical and all this other stuff. That's an egotistical statement all in its own, considering I was who I was before anyone ever acknowledged me as it. I was already walking in it. And that's not me being egotistical or arrogant with saying it. That's just stating a fact. And I think that's the thing that keeps getting kind of mixed up and misconstrued within the whole situation, so to speak. Yeah, because people believe that the divine feminism was that the industry chose to be divine feminines. That's the reason why there's so much insecurity that comes into place with everything. Like, period. Um, while I understand that, it's one of those, I don't want to be blamed for what somebody else did. Yeah, remember which side you on. Yeah, you got to remember, who it is you talking to and what it is that was going on. One of the things I did do over the course of these past couple days, though, was I was patting myself on the back. I pat myself on the back a whole lot. Now, let's get back to these cards was clearing out, right? But basically, as things are developing, right, it's gonna be in regards to what happens. That other name that comes with being a star or being a part of the Aquarius constellation, the bull, and how uh, it is that one would come in with an offer, right? and what happens with one not being childlike or friends, and the exhaustion that comes with one's impatience. That's that part. In the alchemical aspect, it'll be about the friendships being able to go on another day. In the angelic aspect, or in the angelic realm, one of the other things I did notice, yeah, with some of the other readers, what it is that's happening is they trying to embed, yeah, because this ain't the first one that I heard it with, and I was kind of curious. I was like, well, dag, maybe she washing clothes or something. Her go ahead and say what you have to. Yeah, because I was watching one of Empress Bella's thing and I heard like some static embedded under it. I was in, I want to say like the first or second reading of what she did the other day, and I was like, hold on, nah, y'all doing too much now. Yeah, they had already done that before with readers. So just make sure y'all cleansing yourselves out. And I don't know if that's something that YouTube is allowing to happen or what. Yeah, because that speaks poorly on the design and things of that nature that YouTube has. It doesn't speak on to the reader. So there's that portion. The other thing of it was, who are you when you are in a position of power? One of the things that wasn't really cared for with me being at Rooster was the fact that I wasn't cussing people out every 5 minutes. That's not power. How much profanity you can utilize and how much of an attitude you can accumulate, especially considering the tensions that were happening at the time. At the time that I was working at Rooster, there had just been a conviction for the murder of the brother at Sweetie Pies. So yeah, and Sweetie Pies was a tourist attraction. So you had quite a few of those who look like me, right? Quite a few African Americans who wanted Rooster to be the new Sweetie Pies, so to speak. Yeah, and they were being drama filled and all this other stuff. And I had to say, it's one of those, we are not Sweetie Pies. Did y'all not pay attention to what it is that just happened with them, right? And so what ended up happening was with me working there at Rooster, um, it was quite a few people. Why didn't I work at Sweetie Pies? I didn't work at Sweetie Pies because I wasn't comfortable working there. That's what it all boils down to. It was nothing. Yeah, I wasn't comfortable even thinking of working there. So yeah, realistically, because of the drama filled aspect, I'm not a real drama. I like drama, as far as like stage plays and the creative aspect, but living it, no, I do not like that at all. That is very annoying and it's extremely stressful. And on top of that, I was in the process of showing my dad what it is that he should have done with his situation. Yeah, so I alchemized what it was my dad did when he was working at a restaurant, and then shifted it to the higher vibration. Right now, even in regards to, yeah, because Camille said that I had abandoned the post. Would you have rather me fought with the coworker right in front of everybody and been arrested? Because that's what she was doing. I had already went upstairs that particular day when everything went down. I had already went upstairs and I was waiting. Uh, and so I could talk to somebody, but Camille had left, and Paris, she wanted to show her ass in front of everybody, which didn't look good. You got this, no, I'm just serious. You got this chick who just yelling at someone for no reason, realistically, and it was because she wanted, no, because she wanted me to, she was showing you out. Yeah, she was showing me all the way the hell out because I didn't mop the floor, bitch. And she never cleaned the bathrooms. Not one time did I ever see her clean the bathrooms. While I did, on the other hand, see her do a lot of other stuff, she never cleaned the bathrooms. She never cleaned up over on that other side. When I would first come in, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I come in and clean the bathrooms. And then on that same token, yeah, it was like the better I was doing, the more I was trying to show that I was a team player, the more that they were getting a funky ass attitude with me and feeling some type of way. One time it was because my daughter had came and brought me $20 so I can get back home. So they felt some type of way about that. Another time it was because I had did a reading and someone had handed me a tip. When I earned what I earned, a lot of times, yeah, they were getting tips on a daily basis. I wasn't getting shit on a daily basis. $1, $4, $3, and these motherfuckers is taking home 80, 90, $100 tip. No ma'am, no sir, no ma'am. We will not be doing that. We will not do that. We will not play. I will not be the person that pulls in the shit that was necessary for you to even be able to eat that day. And then you turn around and disrespect me. Part one, part two. I was one of the older people there. That was the other reason why I felt really disrespected, because it's one of those, I'm older than you. I'm showing you respect and you not showing me any respect for whatever reason it is. So yeah, it was one of those, ain't nobody got time for all that weird stuff. Yeah, and I like the job. I didn't say I like the people. So there's that. King of Swords essence, what it is to be thought, meticulous planning, to act on the actions is the overall essence, right? Yeah, especially within what it is to be outside of the structure. One of the things it was that was coming to me is that it was a reading that I did. I want to say it was about maybe 2 years ago that made me become even more conscientious of tarot magic and things of that nature. I was at Mark Twain Hotel, and with me being at Mark Twain Hotel, the the reading I did, it was the last time that I want to say it was either the last time or one of the last times I utilized the Gilded Tarot deck. And the dude, yeah, because Nine of Swords came up in it, and King of Swords, and a whole bunch of other ones, cards that came up. But as it manifested, a person ended up jumping out the damn window, committing fucking suicide. And I was like, oh my God. And left a note behind. So that made me, I was like, okay, I don't like when shit manifests in that regard. So instead, then outside of that, I ended up paying attention to not only what it was that was taking place in that aspect, but last night, yeah, last night I was, something told me just look through my pictures because of what it was that had been going on. And within me looking through my pictures, I saw a picture of, yeah, of that dude, and it was one of those ew. Yeah, I seen that picture of him in that car. I went ew, and hurried up and deleted it. I know I should have. Yeah, I know I should have sent it off like I said I would, because every time all them pictures I had in those regards, I had thrown them away a long time ago. A long time ago. And whenever they call themselves resurfacing, it's one of those, you was full of shit then, you full of shit now. I don't give a damn about no pictures. In that regard, all I care about is what happened in real life. And with the opportunity wasn't presented for it to happen again in real life, yeah, and it was always these little nasty attitudes and all this other stuff. And it was like, you know what, I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody finna be chasing a motherfucker down just so that they can be rejected again. No. Rejected, disrespected, not even giving a shit about, even when it would be recorded and known what it was that was going on. Yeah, when a person don't care to listen to me or care about what it is in that regard, when people, and I'm saying me, but insert yourself if you need to. But when a person doesn't care about what it is that's going on with you, and it's always what they want, you never get what you want really. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily hold resentment, but it does teach you how to treat them. So you're the type of person who, since nothing ever matters how another person feels, that means you don't want me to care about how you feel or what's going on with you. If you don't, or you can't acknowledge what's going on in my life and the struggles it is that I would be having, that means that I'm not supposed to acknowledge your struggles and what issues it is that you would be having. That was the way that pretty much manifested in that regard. And was I bothered by it? It taught me what it is to not necessarily, it's not about the self-care or self-love aspect, but in reflection, to be accountable for those times where a person showed me who they were, and in that current state opposed to who they would be or who they have the potential to be. So it was that. So, but yeah, within this whole obsession of one not clearing out and not walking away and being misfortune, the misfortune that'll come into place with that whole Gemini, Libra, Aquarius aspect. That's that part. The other portion of it, right? And the alchemical part, it'll be about how one would structure healing in August within them being fortunate. And within one, not, yeah, what it is for one to walk away with and being fortunate. Some of this stuff is also gonna be about it's not Capricorn season. Yeah, how one would be, yeah, part of it be about being hot as hell, right? But the other part of it'll be the whole Capricorn aspect and what goes on outside of the structure or being out of contract. Being out of contract, being off contract. And be what it is when one's out the building. Out the building. And then not be in the season for building. Yeah, some of it is what it is, whether or not one's in harvest and one not being a Capricorn and not being a Sagittarius. Right? Yeah, because some of this stuff that is given within the whole alchemist code, right? I'm thinking that's part of what it is. Yeah, just because you or a person wouldn't be a Taurus or wouldn't be a Sagittarius, that don't mean that they wouldn't be welcome there. Yeah, that's due to some craziness that some other people did. Yeah, had go on. So all are welcome. All are welcome. All right, so an annoying more that comes into place with this whole obsessions for 2 years, and the obsession, what will be clearing out is knowing the obsession with balance and juggling and what it is to be accepted. Okay, in the passion in the beginning, or accepting the way the beginning would start off. Yeah, because some of it is in the beginning. I hope they found that little girl Genesis. That's the other thing that's kind of coming to me. Yeah, because that's how I manifested in real life that a person, uh, the young woman, her name was Genesis. She was missing, and what was it's like, yeah, it's like how to ensure no one knows how it started. One not knowing how something would have started within the passion in the beginning. Oh no, oh no, I know how everything started with every situation. Yeah, I know how everything started in every situation. It wouldn't even necessarily been the whole neglect aspect. It's more so, like I said, when you show me how you feel about me, I'm not gonna keep chasing up after you. I had to stop looking for people. But it was due to spell work or whatever spell work it is that would be done that would bring me back around them. And it's one of those. After a while, I was like, I ain't got time for it. Yeah, and then when I was being targeted in spell work, it was one of those. Ain't nobody got time for this. But yeah, 7 years ago, there being this influence of a passion in the beginning, um, and the weak, and there being it being a bad investment. And sure, what happens when a bad investment is made? Bad investment, or yeah, or and it just being seeds that would have been planted. Yeah, conditional. Yeah, how every contract is conditional, and whether or not the conditions are fruitful for it. Within there being judgment of the ending, within one's wishes being fulfilled, and there being healing of the work of one being attractive and what it is that one would attract. A lot of this is given is knowing, yeah, how attractive a person is or would be, and then them having to ask for help in the movement. And over the course of 5 years, and one's working and one working, yeah, one working in their inspiration or out of their fire essence, and it being in the upright as an influence of why it is one's misfortune or why one would be misfortunate. Yeah, what I feel inclined to say is, if it don't fit, don't force it. If it does, don't ignore it. But what this is given, right? Yeah, with it being the season of fire, or in the Chinese aspect, it'll be about the fire horse. But in the other portion, it'll be how it is one recognizes the awareness that comes into place inside of one's mind, and what it is you need to pay attention to with like legs, head, legs, and heart. It's giving it whole head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes, head, shoulders, knees and toes, eyes and ears and mouth and nose, head, shoulders, knees and toes. Yeah, the difference between directives versus playing an educational game versus, yeah, just playing games just for the hell of it, and how you within one playing educational games, right? Uh, it's intended for you to learn something and to apply it when you get to the next level. And within, yeah, the acceptance, how it is one would just accept accept whatever it is that happened several years ago, and the robbery that would have come with a person being a Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, it's giving a whole destiny swap aspect. In short, with the whole give it back situation, that came from it was a dramatic interpretation. A medal for Willie is one, yeah, that I did, and within the whole give it back or taking it back, it's one of those. It don't matter who it was that took it, just give it back aspect, and how it is that one would have robbed the Queen of Pentacles, and there would have been reciprocation as an illusion. How one would have paid for it as an illusion. And the other portion of it is, yeah, what it is to have things paid for in July, and one being an empress. No, because what I'm hearing is impressive. Yeah, I'm with the DC deck. But also Friday. What goes on Fridays? Some of the other days to pay attention to, Jupiter Thursday. How one wouldn't have been a friend on Thursday, especially if you're talking about, yeah, the childlike nature of the dark night of the soul. Yeah, who a person would have been as a child, and then there being this Knight of Cups, so there being this apology that will come in, apology, or with this particular Knight of Cups, baby girl, she's singing into a microphone and breaks the glass. How a person would, no, because the song that is given is 3311. When I sing it, I apologize. Oh, believe me, I do. I apologize. Oh, honest and true. Because I knew I was wrong. That's why I'm singing you this song. Ain't nobody finna be apologizing because somebody else done treated them like shit now. Come on now. Yeah, that's not fair. That's not only is it not fair, but that's uncalled for, and it's relentless. Having a person continuously. My great aunt, she used to do that. Yeah, she used to do that. She used to literally just. It was something that I did divulge. Thinking that I'm under the premise of people that I could trust at the time. Uh, but the abuse it was that I had endured, and how it is that I had overcome it. Now the problem was when they tried to reinstitute childhood abuses from when I'm an adult. It's one of those. I already talked about that several times over. Been to counseling, did all that, right? But in that whole, yeah, wanting somebody to apologize to you, well, go to the motherfucker who actually did it to you. You big and bad enough to do something to somebody who didn't do shit to you. I said this a long time ago, quite a few times. If you have an issue with something, go to the actual person that you have the issue with. Don't be trying to pawn it off and ask questions to the universe. That was the other thing. In regards to the asking the questions to the universe, but you just don't like it. A lot of people I noticed what definitely, thankfully, happened was the question was asked, well, why aren't you married? What did you do? Why aren't you married? What did you do? I was at work. I wasn't married. I'm not married because I don't mind working for myself, because I have drive, because I have ambition, and because a male would have to match my drive and ambition in order for me to even be comfortable with him. Me taking care of him, that automatically puts you in the place of my child, which automatically takes you out of vibration for me, and I can't really deal with you. That's that part. The other portion of it is because I spent so much time with my kids. I had already, by the time a lot of people had just started their activist journey, I had already been through the marching in the streets and the meetings, and I had did all that already. So just because somebody else may be late, that's not my problem that you late on it. I won't even tell you to catch up because it may not be for you to catch up. You have to learn certain lessons in regards to that. That's why paperwork is really important in regards to it. So it was that part. Yeah, and even within being an empress. Oh, pause. When I was on the road in Atlanta, y'all, I did meet a young woman. She was absolutely stunning. Lord, she was stunning. She was. She had on the black lipstick, and she had her locks, and she was just gorgeous. And I had to tell her, "You are absolutely beautiful." And she was like, "Are you talking to me?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am. I am talking to you. You are absolutely gorgeous." And she was like, "Oh, thank you. My name is Empress." And I was like, "It's a pleasure to meet you." Yeah, she was gorgeous. Yeah, when you see something breathtaking, and when you're a part of that whole Venus, right, aspect, it's about beauty and romance and making art. That's the karma portion. When you see something beautiful, you acknowledge its beauty. It's nothing wrong with not apologizing. Here, an apology would be beautiful, right? But there's nothing wrong with uh liking what you like and feeling what you feel is beautiful. Yeah, because ain't nobody else gonna live your life. The moment you let them start deciding what's good for your heart, that's the exact moment that you start allowing them to spend your money. Yeah, you might as well give them all your damn money and give them everything else. So that's just it. Now, in regards to this whole situation with the knowing more, with asking for assistance in the work, right? That's where the theft and stuff came into place. Yeah, because it's one of those how a person wouldn't let. I think this is from one of the other readings. Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to talk to the people for my damn self in real life. And that was a part of the script. That was a part of why there would be this misfortune in what's clearing out and being out of contract when you don't acknowledge it, and the lack of virtue that comes into place. Pause. By the way, I also saw that Chris Brown, I think it was, he got a song called "Virtuous Woman." That means he knows. He would know. He would know about stuff. Yeah, and then I also heard somebody say "Funky Four Corners" and the bus stop, and it was like, yeah, that's the answer to that question on my Instagram. But the King of Cups, Five of Cups, right? So what it is, in the the flash static and the conductiveness that comes into place with one being disappointed, also with one shifting one's emotions in regards to it, in regards to what will go on in an illusion or the completion of a cycle, emotional cycle, or even graceful, being graceful within the high priestess, right? Yeah, within what it is that would have been revealed about those individuals who would have been aggressive in the lies, the aggressiveness of a lie. Okay, so the other cards it was that came out, right? Yeah, the other cards it was that came out. I started. So you never spent an hour with none. Well, no, I never spent the hour alone with any of the people who were attacking me, who were stealing from me. Yeah, so you can't just jump on a fucking bandwagon and yeah, that's something that's been happening a whole lot. You can't just jump on the bandwagon just because you own you heard of something, right? You actually have to have a connection to that person, and it has to actually be anchored in 3D. And it would be about the willingness that would have come into place with a person being anchored in something. Yeah, because they weren't anchored in it, and everything was taking place on social media and between the deep fakes, the artificial the artificial intelligence, the deep fakes, all of those. You know, you got to be really, really careful. And to when you are dealing with someone like me, who would have already stated, you know, this is something that needs to happen before this can go further. And it's one of those, the pretty much of it being, you know, the fuck what you talking about. We gonna do this how we want to do it. What happens when you work with boys? That typically don't happens when I work with boys though. That's the thing. That happens when I'm working with men who don't like me or feel some type of way because I won't let them stick their dick in me. So there's that in real life. Yeah, the celebrity aspect. Yeah, it would be like the celebrity aspect, I guess you could say. Yeah, because this morning I was hearing the song Idol. But yeah, I'm just trying to do my job, and all these people, you know, decided they wanted to play all these extra portions in it, and it's like, nah, that wasn't cool at all. I stated that it wasn't cool then, and yeah, I don't have to keep revisiting that. No one does, because whether they realize it or not, with them revisiting it, it reopened the fact that they would have to pay their consultation fee. So I heard you. I'm just saying, they reopen that wound, and stuff won't get out of uh it won't get out of they won't get out of whatever situation until they pay their portion. So since that's what that is, they I said that a couple times a little bit ago. That's what they did. So you did it to yourself, right? So it said the other thing to pay attention to is I'm really, yeah, because some of this other stuff it'll be about stars, what it is to be a star, and no, because what was coming to me is when you work with a person that has that particular name and they try and act like you. Yeah, talk about it real quick. Start at Delmar Gardens. She didn't like me. She didn't like me at all. She tried to blame me for a whole bunch of stuff, and she knew I was fucking magical just the same. Cause she every time she would bitch and moan and complain about Courtney, a girl that we worked with, I would show up like she felt some type of way with Courtney not paying her for a lunch or something that she had bought for her. And that night while I was asleep, I ended up just sending her $10. And she was like, "Did you know you sent me this money?" I was like, "Yeah, I know I sent it to you." And she was like, "Oh, thank you." And then after that, I just stopped dealing with her. Yeah, because for whatever reason, whatever it was that was going on, she may have been talking about Courtney, but she was mixing me up with her because she was focusing on me. So that in itself was a bit of an issue. The other part of it, yeah, I don't talk to anyone from any of my old jobs. You a coworker, you were just a coworker. I had some good ones, I had some that I didn't really care for, but I don't want nothing bad to happen to either one of them. I got other stuff to worry about, more pressing matters at hand. That even then I was understanding what it was going on. So yeah, with that whole, they knew that I wasn't her because me and Sharon Star Stone, me and her, she's shorter than I am. She's about a good 4 or 5 shades lighter than I am. We don't have the same build. I intentionally set myself apart on a regular basis, and because they wanted the whole cookie cutter aspect so that they can get things mixed up between the two of us, they felt some type of ways that I wouldn't allow for that to happen. Everybody typically gets upset with me because of that. Because I won't let you mix me up with somebody else. You're gonna have to remember who it is I am. If you don't remember who it is I am, then why would you even bother with stuff? So it's that part. Now, the other deck, right, that came out was the heart deck. So ultimately, it was something. It would have been strategy for Queen of Pentacles to reciprocate in July within the doing of love. And then what was taking place is the secret or the revealing nature of the secrets of one's aggression being a lie. Yeah, how aggressive a person would be. I'm theatrical. I am theatrical. And a lot of people may have shut the fuck up, please. That's literally the name of the poem, right? And it's a healing poem that's telling people, look, I'm trying to heal right now, and you're interfering with me healing. And the only way that I could get you up off me within me healing right now is to have to tell you all of the things that will go on in my meditative mind to do to you when you picking on me, right? So it's that part. The other portion of it will be about in the incoming priestess's attraction being the truth, or the what it is that will be attracted in a day. Attracted or attractive in a day. And then on Friday, right? Now, because in the money aspect, it'll be about the difference between $80 and $50. And yeah, and while it was for a nice little second, it was like the whole talk of invoices and all this other stuff. It's like, nah, you knew what you were supposed to do, and you knew about the spiritual contract and all this other stuff. It wasn't, don't be until a person gets messed up. And on top of that, the angel aspect for you too. Yeah, whether it be about the angels or whatever, what have you, it's like people would have known exactly what it is that would be happening. Now, in addition to that, it's the whole aspect of what it is that will go on TikTok and stuff like that. Now, the overall essence of it, right? If you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind. For the heart is the gateway to the soul. And why it is that so many people do love readings or do heart chakra shit or do heart play on people's love and emotions. Now, one of the things I will say is, when you at a particular level, right? I don't care how that comes into place. A public persona or a public figure. Yeah, because at one point on Facebook, if you were a public figure, they wouldn't allow for you to make your page private because you're a public figure. And it's one of those, but even though I'm a public figure, I have a private life. And with so many different times my page had been hacked and stuff, I don't know what that's gonna be about, but so many times my page being hacked and somebody else controlling it, and I'm still getting the backlash for it. It was craziness. Also, ultimate insanity, and a lot of it was due to somebody feeling some type of way. It's one of those, girl, don't nobody got time to be playing no fucking games with you. I say what she has to. Well, in regards to it, you can only tell a person so many times not to let somebody else take advantage of you before you, A, don't want to hear it no more, and B, you just like, okay, well, if that's just how you want to live your life, that's just how you want to live your life. In short, if you tell me that a person owes you $400, right, and then I find out that you didn't do shit to the person who owes you $500 or $400, but you do something to me because I listened to you, or you expect for me to give you the $400 that somebody else gave you, but you didn't go and talk to that person at all. You just holding on to whatever resentment that motherfucker got, that you had toward that person. We're not doing that. I don't do that very well. Don't blame me for nothing that somebody else did to you. Don't confuse it. Don't say it was because you was under the influence. No, say it because you figured that you'd be able to get it from me opposed to getting it from somebody else because of what it is you thought that you could get from me. That's the unfortunateness that comes into place when you do have an abundance mindset opposed to a lack consciousness mindset. Yeah, because it was too much stuff that was going on in those times. It was. I had my children around me. I'm not supposed to have nobody move into my house. And I have my children there, and it's a bunch of other children there. And you talking about to one capacity that you want to do corn and stuff, and then on the other portion of it, do that shit at your own house. If that's what you do with you and your kids, that's what you do with you and your kids. That's not gonna happen with me and mine. Part one. Part two, you telling me that you know all these people, which reminds me, I just remembered that. Thank you. Which reminds me, but you got all this other stuff going on with all these other people, but you don't even have license plates. you in a relationship, but he can't get you no license plates. He can't give you no money for nothing. He can only give you resources. No, that's bullshit. That's not yeah, resources as far as how you can take care of yourself, but he doesn't want to do it for you because of it. No, that's craziness. That's also as far as a romantic relationship is concerned, that's utter insanity. Yeah, you learn to let that stuff go and you realize, okay, this isn't a romantic relationship, this is a business one, and it's an imbalanced business one, right? So time, yeah, in regards to the emperor's week of being a star, yeah, in short, yeah, because what is given is in the dark night of the soul, what it is that a person would have done when one would have found out that someone would have belonged to the cosmos from the point of birth. um but time, you're trying too hard, give it time. So that's going to be something that deals with TikTok. Manifesting miracles. Your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance. And then we got this whole secret admirer aspect, right? Yeah, when it comes to secret admirer, someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. Twin flames, your passion ignites passion. A magnetic and seductive quality surrounds you at present. Enjoy it. Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. One of the things it is that was coming into place with this, I heard say what you have to. When you put a child in an adult's place, when you put your child or a child to any capacity in an adult's place, that's what that's gonna be about. Well, one of the things it is, I'm not the whole destiny swapping aspect. Yeah, you can't destiny swap a full grown ass woman with a little bitty ass girl. And even in this whole secret admirer aspect, yeah, some of this in the secret admirer aspect, uh, within the manifestations of miracles, right? The miracle of time. It was a question that was posed, what is time to you? Time is freedom because it gives you a benchmark for me. It gives you a benchmark on what exactly is expected, and as long as you reach that particular goal, like, okay, say for instance, with what it was that was happening at Rooster at the close of the day, right? If you see till 2, that means that you don't get out of there till 2:30, 3 o'clock, right? And I was working with Fifth Wheel Catering as well, so I would have to go from, yeah, doing whatever it was I was doing there at Rooster, walk around the corner, get dressed, get set up and everything by like 4:30, 5 o'clock, which realistically didn't give me a whole lot of time considering I wouldn't get off from there until 11, 12 o'clock. And by the time I would have to go to work the next morning, I would have to be at work at about a good 5:30, 6 o'clock. I have to be up and getting dressed and walking about 5:30, 6 o'clock to work. So I would do everything when I first got there, opposed to doing it at the end of the shift. And even when I would do it at the end of the shift, yeah, it would always be something. It was always something. Just couldn't make that. Yeah, she was a Virgo. Just couldn't make her ass happy. Couldn't make none of them happy. Worked the damn, and they figured it is what it is. Now, in that same regard, since I was coming in to clean up, no, they wouldn't clean the bathrooms at the end of the night. They wouldn't clean the bathrooms at the end of the night, and I would be one of the people who would change the. Yeah, I'd take out trash and stuff during the middle of the shift. If it was, yeah, the biggest issue was that I was a tarot reader. Let me go ahead and call it out. Biggest issue was that I was a tarot reader and they wanted me to stick around for that. And opposed to them saying that they wanted me to do a reading for them and just openly communicating, what they would do is they try to pull their own information out, not paying attention to it. And it was very debilitating, and or not debilitating, but it was very disrespectful. And then she asked me, or a lot of them would ask me to protect them from different situations, but they would continue and they wouldn't have to deal with this situation again afterward. But for whatever reason, those people were always, yeah, I was always put in this same roundabout little thing. Like with my oldest two kids' dad, his cousin, she was stalking me up there. She kept coming to my job and trying to get me fired and shit, and it was no reason for her to do that. Yeah, and she was a Libra, and she thought that that shit was balanced. It's like, that is not balanced. You don't fuck with me for real, and you stalking on my page, and you know what your cousin did to me. Your family, your whole family knows exactly what it is that happened. But y'all want to try and play like everything is okay. It's like, no, everything is not okay with me. You will not get nothing. Yeah, you're not gonna get no special or no preferred treatment just because I have a child with this fool. She want, yeah, because what she was expecting is to get the VIP treatment when she came up there and smiling and all this other shit. It's like, girl, ew, no. Between what I know that happened with you and him when you was younger, and the way that you have responded even now, and the fact that she was still hold a grudge over some shit it was that happened when we were teenagers, girl, no, you doing too much. And I ended up telling the manager about that. Now, the problem that came into place with it was, yeah, it's like how people just want it to be drama. And in the chaos aspect, that's what it basically disproved with me being there in the alchemical portion. Just because you might be doing chaos shit, it doesn't have to be chaotic. You need somebody in place who can handle, who can organize the chaos, basically, is what that's about. So, within the whole manifesting of miracles and the secret admirer portion, yeah, and what happens when your secret admirer is your actual twin flame, and you may not have been made aware of it. Now, cause I remember from one of the readings I did, it was a while ago, y'all. Though, yeah, I want to say it was a reading that I did on Facebook, and then I may have done it on YouTube and then transferred over to Facebook. But in the reading, I say, "Am I a bet? Am I a bet? Am I a fucking bet?" And it was coming from, I want to say, She's All That with Freddie Prinze Jr. That's what that's gonna be about. Yeah, how a person would bet on someone. Uh, and how that would be also a confirmation of something being anchored in. Yeah, that's the whole slang terminology. So I don't know how exactly that fits in. But is what it is. So for the overall summarization of everything, it would have been a lot of different situations, and the reality of it is it's not really as many moving parts as one would have. Yeah, well, what would clear out it not being a whole bunch of moving parts as one would have su- suggested. You know what it's like? It's like when you put a cabinet together. That's what happens when you put a cabinet together. Like if you just planning on putting the cabinet together, and it'll come with all this parts, and you use all its parts. Well, it's the difference between putting the cabinet together and decorating the cabinet. And if the cabinet would have already been put together, but the decorations, you're not sure on what the decorations for it would be. It's basically what that's going to be about. And the movement in one's emotions being what it is that shake things up within the lust of a teenager, and the completion of the cycle that comes with one having an inheritance. No, because the thing of it, her say whatever you have to. I noticed that my oldest daughter, she had been dealing with it a lot, where she get more up to date. She said that the name Corey had been coming around her a whole lot, and it's one of those motherfucker. I know you better not, because you know how I am about my kids. You know how I am about my kids, and my kids didn't ever have his number. I did. And ain't nobody gonna call you for their kids when when you was a part of the reason why I got separated from them in the first damn place. You're the problem. Because you wanted to be with somebody who didn't have kids, but you had a crush or a secret admiration on someone who does. That doesn't make sense. There's no way you can explain it away. Just the same as with the whole over the summertime situation, how it was the Romeo and Juliet situation. And I told his stupid ass then. No, cause it's getting really bothersome to have to keep saying the same things over and over in regards to it. I'm gonna make sure I seal it in this reading now. But I had already stated it even then. You had your daughter with you. I didn't have my kids with you. He had Lethal, who at the time was his fucking assistant, and she has a car, Sev was there. She had a car. He didn't want to actually have a conversation with me for whatever fucking reason. But you think that I'm supposed to let you and your child in my damn vehicle just because you showed up with your child? And then I ended up having to tell him later on, I didn't have my kids with me. Yeah, shit like that is what made me lose complete interest. You don't talk to no person just because they got their kids with them. That's disrespectful as fuck to the child and to you. And on top of that, with there being any sort of attraction in that regard to my kid, that's the reason why I don't fuck with most men now. I don't. Because you're not finna, you're not finna be lusting over my fucking kids. You fucking weirdos. That's that R. Kelly shit. That's what happens when you listen to too much R. Kelly. In any event, outside of that though, to summarize, right? Within the whether it be the presentation at the highest, right? It'll be about the intimacy that it is that will be spoken, right? During performances or whatever, what have you, and what it is that would be projected. If you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind, for the heart is the gateway to the soul. And there being movement, and over the course of 6 days, and an organization of thoughts within how it is that things it is that would have been cleared out as far as the intelligences that would have come through, right? Come through, come in. And with that whole situation of, you're always saying come through, and how a person would, like me, I have telepathic communication, period. And me being a magical person, right? Yeah, it's certain stuff it was that I would want to do any damn way. Anyway, my bad, y'all. Because what makes me aggressive is when a person continuously does the whole poking of the bear, and I'm the bear. You keep poking me, and you keep doing shit, and then you get in an attitude with me because I have the essence that I have. I'm supposed to be angry. You're violating my boundaries. And you're violating the boundaries of those who would be around me. I'm supposed to be angry. I'm not supposed to just be, oh, well, it's okay. No, fuck you. I said it then and I say it now. No, I don't like you. I stopped it a long damn time ago. But you wanted to pursue the issue on a creep tip, and it was one of those, I'm writing poetry and making sure I'm still learning and everything, and other people were doing all this weird stuff. Yeah, and then what it does is it makes it seem as if that's what's happening in my life now. It's like, no, that's not what's happening in my life now. I know exactly what it is that will be going on. Like in the mathematics aspect, it'll be about what would go on in the head as far as like the phalanges and all this other stuff would be going on, and how one wouldn't have been able to, I'm hearing, receive some things, okay? And even in regards to it, how this would be, it'll be about the Pisces placements too. But how these variant situations would be as a result of, with this Two of Pentacles, opposed to it being about change, it'll be about what, in the past situations, what it is to juggle. And what part of the work it is that would be juggled. Yeah, in short, what happens when you delegate responsibility to someone who's incapable of handling it? Just because, is it called the nihilism? All right, there you go. Yeah, due to nihilism. And it's one of those, yeah, okay, let me go ahead and say this. I don't know who is on the other side of the trail, but it's like with, I hope they don't mind me, because I was hearing brown skinned girl, right? Blue Ivy, she's had the training and everything necessary to take over and to step into and even walk in the path that her mom has, right? Blue Ivy has it. Courtney didn't have training as far as what it is to do marketing or none of that. What it is to be sexy and all of that. And even in that regard, to me, she'd never be sexy until she was the age of 25. Because that's when that's my standard. At the age of 25, then after that, you could be attractive, sexy, and all this other shit. But as long as you under the age of 25, for me, I don't really deal with that. in that regard. And then moving forward, yeah, the whole situation with the Boys and Girls Club, that's who was there. So that's who needs to take care of it. Them sending me something for, yeah, to no, I didn't agree for her to be my representative. Why would I want a little bitty ass girl to get credit for the shit it is that I'm doing as a grown woman? Make Don't do that. Don't do that. And even it, yeah, don't do that. And on top, it's too much. That's doing too much. It's doing too much. But in short, within the closing, I'm going to seal and close this reading, right? But what it would be given is how one would apologize. One would need to apologize for certain situations it was that would have taken place with the creation of different secret admirers, uh, and the manifesting of miracles that came or come with being a secret admirer. Yeah, because just a person just admiring from what I've seen actually happen. No, because this happened with a dude who was a Capricorn. He used to work down at Metro. He used to follow me around a lot, and whenever he was on my page and he would listen to one of my things, he wouldn't necessarily divulge who he was, but he, people would get a reading from me, and they blessings and miracles would come in just from being on my page and watching this stuff. So, however it is that goes into place. Uh, and even in the whole aspect of being a superhero and what poison ivy is and what poison ivy does. Realistically, poison ivy protects the environment. If you ever paid attention to where like poison ivy, poison oak, and all that, yeah, it's usually manifests around a lot of sacred spaces. So it's that portion. And the other part of being what it is to be poison ivy, of how everything has its anecdote. Because one of the things it is that I did notice was it was a sea of purple at one point down the path it was I was walking. Yeah, this is with the whole illusion aspect. And I didn't take a picture of it when it was a whole bunch of purple around, but I noticed that it was a whole bunch of, but I saw the flowers and stuff. And how a person would have been stealing on Friday or stolen something from the Empress. Yeah, the taking of one's fruitfulness. So pay attention to what it is to be fruitful in regards to varying aspects. And within the apologetic nature that will come in to fruition with certain things, it'll be about what it is to really ask for help. Yeah, and if you asking for it's one thing for a person to ask for help, it's a whole nother thing for a person to do it for you. And it's even better still is something when you steal it. When you stealing it from a person, or you just feel like, oh, they have so much, they can give me some. And it's one of those, that's not always true, because you don't know what a person's, yeah, if a person is already asking for help and they have a little bit and you keep asking them for shit, it's one of those, they need the help sooner and they need the help faster. Not only do they need the help sooner, they need the help faster, but it's also a matter of her say what you have to. Yeah, it's also a matter of whether or not being a good steward of their finances, and your finances doesn't necessarily always have to be a good steward of your finances, and like currency, U.S. currency, exchange your hands money for goods, but your essence and your energy too, being a good steward of it. And when you've had enough of something, when you can't do something, and you get warning signs all around you as to why it is you shouldn't do something in a particular fashion. No, because I just, especially even with me just being on the road more up to date, just talking to people, and they'll tell me like their tragedies and all this other stuff, and then turn around and ask me to do something, and I'm already feeling the way it is that they felt right before they had their tragedy, and then they'll turn around and ask me to do something. It's one of those, nah, I just heard what you just said, I'm not finna do it. I know how I'm feeling. I don't need nobody else to tell me how I feel about shit. What? I don't. I know how I'm insured the difference between a person who is emotionally intelligent versus a person who's heartbroken. So yeah, I don't know where that came from. I'm hoping it helps out. It helps you guys out though. So pay attention to whether you're emotionally intelligent or you're just heartbroken, and you're learning the lesson on what will go on with emotional intelligence. And I do feel inclined to say before I close this out, emotional intelligence is not saying that I know this person is going to break my heart. That is not emotional intelligence. That is you speaking negativity into your life and validating the fuck shit it is that will have go on. Because if this person isn't showing any signs of hurting you or doing anything wrong to you or anyone around you, and you're speaking that into, yeah, that's a lie. That's that portion. The other portion of it is will be about with doing affirmations, and you know that you're, yeah, it's one of those, if you doing the affirmation and you know that it's not in alignment with you to even any capacity. Yeah, like one of the affirmations I've had from being a child is I am lovable and capable, right? It being a person who would have been abusive to incapacity, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, whatever, and them saying I am lovable and capable. Well, in that regard, you're not lovable and capable because you're abusive, and that's something that you need to shift and change in yourself. What? No one's supposed to love abuse? That's ridiculous. Yeah, and the whole domestic violence month thing. That's some complete. I don't know what y'all got going on. Yeah, between domestic violence month and gun. That's the October thing. Uh, and then this month it being Juneteenth, as well as Father's Day. Oh, I'm upset again. Now I'm upset again. Let me finish this. I'm feeling a type of way. I'm feeling a type of way, but you know, whatever. Um, but the emotional abuse, right? And when a person knows how to tap into different aspects. Uh, but yeah, and what it is to manifest a miracle. That, you know, the secret admirer, twin flame portion, that would, you know, just come out and about. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that will be the spiritual connections portion from one of the other readings that I'm thinking. Yeah, and how the miracle would be that the secret admirer is your twin flame and they're really passionate about you. So in short, pay attention to who your real twin flame is, opposed to it being about the whole twin flame community. Because in a community of twin flames, there is supposed to be an agape love that comes into place, but it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, and it doesn't necessarily have to be dominating. Yeah, it don't have. It's not supposed to be a whole dominating and all this other craziness. Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, go ahead and take me. I need to be up out of that community because it's too much fuck shit that's intentionally happened. In short, in the twin flame community, what's been going on is there's been a lot of karmic for the negative that's been, yeah, having bad behavior rewarded, and that is what's supposed to be the twin flame journey. That is not the twin flame journey. Stop lying to yourselves. That is soulmate and soul tie distribution of emotion and the deterioration of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, as a breakdown. So I'm hoping it helps you guys out just a little bit. And I'm going to seal, close, and lock in this reading, all right, and this essence and this energy into just this reading. So whenever you fall on this, and hopefully it gives you the guidance it is that you would need. The major arcana signs it is that came out were and are Aries, Aquarius, Sagittarius, and how Aquarius situations would be reflective of like a south node for Sagittarius. Uh, and then also the mutability and liberalism and things of that nature, with one not being a Capricorn, and the higher and lower vibrations in Capricorn, and then there being one being misfortune. Yeah, Saturn being retrograde, when Saturn and Jupiter were retrograde. Okay, so hopefully this helps you guys out just a little bit. I'm going to seal, close, and lock the energy into this reading. Please, 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 please use your higher order thinking in regards to this. So if you guys have any of these different situations go on, in short, don't let nobody make you feel bad because you got angry about something. All right, light and love to y'all. Okay, because see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. It is not light work. Spread the love in the light work ain't light work portion, right? And that's why you have to stay light while you are